Hello, I'm Derek Diane Johnson. Derek's master name, Diane is the fem name. And in today's video, I'm just going to talk a bit about, honestly, how kind of disgusting it is that people have weaponized MLK's legacy. And I know this might make a video better for, like, Black History Month or something, but I didn't want to wait. So many people will basically use MLK to silence black people who have dissenting opinions or violence by black protesters. And look, I want to make one thing perfectly clear. I'm not in any way saying that violence should always be the answer, that you should always resort to violence. Here's the thing. When you pretty much incentivized them to own that violence is the only way to get attention, they're going. And I know how racist that sounds. I'm not saying they as in like, oh, blacks are all them Negro. No. What I'm simply saying is that, the protesters who did get violent, and yes, I'm aware that, the cops provoking it was a huge part of why some of those George Floyd protests violent, and most of the protests were peaceful. However, that's not what the media decided to focus on. The media decides to focus on the ones that got violent so they can basically push this narrative. But anyways, back to the point. By using that riots are the voice of the... By basically using that he condemned rioting, which he did. However, he also did say it was important to condemn the conditions that created the rioting in the first place and acknowledge that without the poor treatment of the African American communities, that wouldn't have happened in the first place. Again, he also fucking hated white moderates who tried to play fence-sitter peacekeeper, because they were more concerned with small peace and looking good than actually doing the right thing. But again, it just feels like the version of MLK we've been taught is pretty much just cherry-made to be the ultimate good one. He's just the most golly gee good guy. You shouldn't complain. You should be like him. You should be just the most golly gee good, never causing ruckus person ever. Which, no. Here's the thing. At his time, he was fucking hated. People thought he was just the most evil, vile thing in the world because he wanted black people to have rights and wanted to undo segregation and other Jim Crow era laws, which he succeeded in. However, he also wasn't the only one. Again, while Malcolm X does have areas I do vehemently disagree with him on, he also did say some things that were 100% spot on about how people try to appease to minority communities by just throwing them a few token, items. Oh, you want black people? You want cops to literally stop murdering you in the streets? We removed this one episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia for blackface, even though in that episode they're actually making fun of racists. And that's in Philadelphia's entire shtick is basically these people are the worst examples of humanity alive. Do not be like them. And the Black Panthers, they actually did a lot to help the African American communities. And keep in mind, I'm not like the gatekeeper of black or the spokesperson for all black people. I'm fucking white as shit. You can see that. But here's the thing. MLK would hate people using just pieces of his speeches out of context to basically just use him as an ideal black person to say, you should all be like him. He's the good one, unlike you, who is causing ruckus be like him, aka the good one. Which, no. Like, I'm not going to say that I agree with everything every single black activist has ever... BLM activist has ever done. However, I'm also not gonna say that they have to fit this one ideal mold created by white people. Because here's the thing. The version of MLK where, taught just the most golly gee good guy who never caused any trouble is pretty much a whitewashed version of MLK and the civil rights movement in general. Like, yeah, I'd love it if people could just magically make all the change in the world just through peaceful protest. I 100% agree. But we don't live in that perfect world. And while I'm not supporting, looting or rioting small businesses, and before any of you get on my back, robbery doesn't just cause a physical toll, it also causes a mental and emotional one. It causes a loss of security and paranoia in the robbery victims. So, unless those same people that were looting and rioting are actually going to help pay for therapy or treatment in case there is any trauma with the victims, then no, it's not. Then, yeah, they're not mitigating all the damages at all. Sorry to tell you the truth. But here's the thing. Just using MLK as a weapon to silence them is really fucking disgusting. Again, it's important to remember why that happens in the first place. These are people who are in pain, who have had their pain ignored for years and years and years and years. We're finally having enough and snapping. If you want to undo the looting and rioting, get rid of the cause of it in the first place. Well, that's the video. Bye.